subscribing, and leaving comments.
This is the 4th year for the forum, and we're experiencing growing pains. I'm pleased that the room is full. I just wanted to talk to you a bit about some of those growing pains. Now, up until this year, the events have been totally free, as many of you know. And this year we have decided to start charging a small amount for these sessions. Now I think you'll agree with me, because of the lineup of the people and the caliber of the speakers, that in most other places where you would go for an event like this, you would probably be paying $100 a session. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, you are wrong.
For those of you,
$100 for the whole thing.
okay, $100 for the whole thing. All right, $100 for the whole thing. In some cases, speakers of this caliber could be $50 a session, $100 a session, $150, $200. For those of you people who go to events of this caliber, and when I say that, I'm referring to the people who are speaking. It does run those amounts. So the fees that we're charging are nominal. It comes as a shock, I'm sure, to those of you who have come here every year for 3 years. And I apologize for any of those difficulties that might arise as a result of now charging. And if anybody wants to talk to me about any of this at some point, feel free to, because we certainly welcome your input. In fact, that's what makes it work, is your input. And I did speak to a few of the people to get an idea about how to start this. And maybe someday I'll actually have a wage for all of this too. As well as some of the other people who have been helping out on a volunteer basis. Aside from that, I'd like to, if I didn't mention it already, welcome you once again. And it is because of your growing attendance and participation that this is working. And it's, in my opinion, a fabulous event. Look around the room and look at the speakers list and see who is now attending and who is a part of this. And I'd like to reflect back on the very first session 4 years ago. I think John was here for that session. And there was, I think 4 people in the audience. There was more speakers than there was audience.
So it was free then, wasn't it?
It was free then too. And again, there's another issue of, well, if it's free, is it worth anything? But that's a whole other matter. Anyways, enjoy yourselves, and like I say, I really appreciate your input, positive, negative, any kind. Just give it to me, because that's how we improve it.
You'll be around.
I will be in and out, but you could certainly, on the program which we have now, something new. There's a spot for you to, there's a suggestion box. Speak to Danny Perez here, or to Karen, and they will convey it to me. And any other arrangements that I have made with people will certainly be honored. I can't think of anything more to say other than please enjoy yourselves, and thank you for coming. I'll pass it over to Danny first. Yes.
I'm here.
Hi. Yes, that's right.
Once again, I would like to welcome you to the 4th Annual Sasquatch Forum. Stephen Harvey here is the organizer. I'm Daniel Perez from the Center for Bigfoot Studies from Los Angeles, California. My first opportunity to come up to this event was 3 years ago in 1994, and I saw it was going to be a good thing, and I wanted to see it grow. As we go through our list of speakers, we hope that we have your undivided attention and that you have common courtesy and refrain from interrupting and ask your questions after the speaker is fully done with his talk and you have an opportunity to ask some questions. The bit about Stephen Harvey talking about who's who in Bigfooting, yes, here, sitting right here in this room, this is a very distinguished group of the major leaguers of Bigfooting in the world. Not just here in North America, but worldwide. And just, if you have a copy of your program, some of the names here, it reads like a who's who. Barbara Butler Lawson from Bend, Oregon, and she's been around for a long time. Renee DeHinden from Richmond, British Columbia. He's been around doing this forever. If you look closely again, John Green from this community right here. These people are the people throughout the years that you've seen on the various programs, the hard copies, the unsolved mysteries, and whatnot. So it's a very distinguished group. It's small, but here we're bringing together the big hitters. No doubt about that. We have a definite time frame to keep on and to keep our speakers. We're supposed to start at 9:30. It's 9:47. So I'm not going to rush anyone, but we're going to try to keep on moving and refrain from interruptions. I've got some notes here before I introduce my first speaker. Fate magazine in June is coming out with somewhat of a major article on Bigfoot. I don't know if you receive it, but I'm sure some of you know about that magazine. In August, they will have another major article about an episode that happened in the Redwoods that was featured on hard copy and later on Jay Leno's Tonight Show. I did, again, last year I had an opportunity to do quite a bit of field investigations. I spoke with the widow of the individual who coined Bigfoot, and I believe it was back in 1958, Andrew Genzoli, from the Eureka Times-Standard. October 21st, 1967, the news broke in the Eureka Times-Standard. It was the original press release about the event that happened the day before, the Patterson-Gimlin film. Everyone has seen this film. We do not know who wrote that newspaper article. I had an extensive interview with this lady at her home in Ferndale. This is what she wrote in a little note to me because I said I would get a copy of the clip to her. It says, "The more I look at the article you sent me, I really don't believe Andy wrote it. It just doesn't have his characteristics. So you'd better not quote me as saying, I believe Andy wrote it." So at this point, nobody knows who wrote that article one day after the event. But apparently Patterson spoke with someone from the Eureka Times-Standard, and we're still trying to find out who that individual is. And best we know, it was not Andrew Genzoli, according to his widow. And the widow has read a lot of his writings. Also, too, I don't know if you get the Eureka Times-Standards, but this just broke Sunday, April 21st. Pretty major article here on Bigfoot. And then they interviewed two of the professors here at Humboldt State University in Arcata, California. So you might write for a back issue or something. One of the things, as we're talking about this subject, it is in fact one of the biggest mysteries on the planet, and every day our world of information is constantly changing. Our world of ideas about what is constantly changing. This here is from Popular Science, dated August of '91. And let me read to you just briefly about what they're talking about here. And it's about something that we've all studied in chemistry, about carbon, the carbon atom. And it says here, a scientist's accidental discovery of a giant carbon molecule could launch an array of new compounds, etc., etc. It says, the discovery of a new kind of carbon came as a stunning surprise to most scientists. Carbon is the most intensely studied of all the elements because of its basis for most of the molecules of life, the organic molecules. Looking in any chemistry textbooks, and you'll read that for centuries, research showed carbon came in just two basic structures: hard, sparkling diamond, whose carbon atoms are arranged in little pyramids, and dull, soft, slippery graphite, which consists of a sheet of carbon atom hexagons. Now, as we go into the late 1980s, into 1990, this is what happened. Those chemistry textbooks are now obsolete. There's a new basic structure of carbon with an almost unbelievable structure. It's 60 carbon atoms for something that looks like a hollow soccer ball. So in other words, the shape of this carbon molecule was always there. Again, the shape of this molecule was always in existence. We just never knew it. And carbon, again, is one of the most intensely studied of all the atoms. So, again, this Bigfoot thing here, it's a lot of people snicker and sneer and say there is no such thing, but our world of information is constantly changing. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, will be speaking Sunday evening. Interestingly enough, he will be talking about an episode that happened August 28, 1995 at about 8:37 in the Redwoods. And one of the witnesses, believe it or not, it was on hard copy, was in this magazine, Playboy. So that'll be very interesting to hear what Dr. Meldrum has to say about this episode.
Are we going to see any pictures there, Dan?
I'm
sorry. Check.
Finally,
I heard it was wearing Adidas tennis shoes.
to reiterate, you all should have a forum program. On the back here, there's some questions. And on the very back, there's a place for you to write your suggestions. So I encourage you to do so and hand it to Karen in the back of the room to see how we can continue to improve our forum. A couple of changes in our program. It's going to be the same deal. We've added one speaker. Wayne Moore from Elma, Washington will be our second speaker today. Also, too, there has been another change. Thomas Steenberg is supposed to be speaking Saturday evening. With Switchcott, he will be speaking Sunday morning. John Green will be speaking this evening, and we might have a special guest in attendance. We got word last night that Gordon Strassenberg, who's speaking on Sunday, broke down in Tacoma, Washington. So possibly this individual will not be here to make a presentation. That's basically it. With that, I would like to introduce our first speaker, and after he is done speaking, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. Dr. John Bindernagel from...
If you're enjoying all this rare and unique content, please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.